Ambassador Zephyrian's chromatophores flickered nervously as he adjusted his ceremonial robes for the third time. The Galactic Council chamber hummed with anticipation, its crystalline walls refracting the nervous energy of dozens of species gathered for this historic moment. After centuries of monitoring radio signals from the third planet of the Sol system, they were finally going to meet the beings who called themselves humans. "Remember," Counselor Vexhai whispered through their shared neural link, "preliminary analysis suggests they're herbivorous pack hunters. Peaceful, cooperative, likely excellent candidates for agricultural partnerships." Zephyrian nodded, his tentacles curling with excitement. The humans' transmissions had been filled with music, art, and what appeared to be nature documentaries about their planet's flora. Surely these were gentle, plant-eating creatures who had evolved beyond violence. The chamber's atmosphere shifted as the transport bay doors hissed open. 3 figures emerged, walking with a measured stride that somehow commanded attention despite their modest height. They wore matching dark coverings that hugged their bipedal forms, and their faces were pale, symmetrical, and eerily calm. The lead human stepped forward, and Zephyrian noticed something unsettling about its eyes. They were forward-facing, both organs pointing in the same direction like a predator's. But that couldn't be right. "Honored representatives of the Galactic Council," the human said, its voice carrying clearly through the chamber's translation matrix. "I am Director Sarah Chen of Earth's Diplomatic Corps. These are my colleagues, Commander James Rodriguez and Dr. Kenji Nakamura." Zephyrian floated forward, his ceremonial greeting prepared. "Welcome, peaceful children of Sol. We are delighted to meet fellow herbivores and establish agricultural trade agreements." "Herbivores?" The human called Chen tilted her head slightly, and something that might have been amusement flickered across her features. "I'm afraid there's been a misunderstanding." The chamber fell silent. Counselor Ixterra, a crystalline being from the Andromeda sector, chimed in with confusion, evident in her harmonic voice. "But your transmissions, the nature programs about plants, the peaceful music." Dr. Nakamura spoke up, his tone gentle but somehow carrying an undertone that made several smaller species unconsciously step backward. "Those documentaries weren't about plants we cultivate. They were about animals we hunt." The temperature in the chamber seemed to drop several degrees. Commander Rodriguez stepped forward, and now Zephyrian could see the way the human moved fluid, balanced with the unconscious grace of something built for pursuit. "Earth's delegation appreciates your welcome, but we should clarify our species' nature before proceeding." Chen nodded, and when she smiled, Zephyrian caught a glimpse of what his terror-struck mind initially registered as fangs, though he quickly realized they were simply flat, efficient cutting tools. "Humans are omnivores, Counselor. Apex predators, actually. We didn't evolve past hunting, we evolved to be better at it." The vegan representative, a flower-like entity named Petal Song, began to wilt visibly. But your music. It's so beautiful, so peaceful." "Music often accompanies our hunts," Rodriguez explained matter-of-factly. "And our wars. We find rhythm helps with coordination." Dr. Nakamura pulled out a small device that projected a holographic image. "Perhaps a demonstration would help. This is from our last military conflict, what we call Themu War." The hologram showed humans in coordinated formations, using tools with deadly precision. But what struck Zephyrian most was their faces during combat: calm, focused, calculating. Not the wild fury of a cornered herbivore, but the cold efficiency of a natural killer. "We lost that war," Chen added conversationally, "to the emus. Large, flightless birds. It was embarrassing, really." Counselor Threx, whose species had evolved from prey animals, was trembling so violently that his translator was having difficulty processing his words. You wage war against your own planet's creatures. Everything wages war against everything on Earth," Rodriguez said with what seemed like fondness. "It's how we got so good at it. Competition breeds excellence." The chamber erupted in various expressions of distress. Some species began secreting defensive pheromones, others activated personal shield generators, and the Pacifican delegate simply fainted in a puddle of bioluminescent shock. Chen raised her hand, and the gesture somehow commanded immediate silence. Another predator trait, Zephyrian realized with growing horror. "Please, don't be alarmed. We're here for peaceful trade and cultural exchange. We've evolved past most of our violent impulses." "Most?" squeaked Representative Pip from the Mouse Coalition. "Well," Dr. Nakamura said thoughtfully, "we still compete aggressively in sports, business, politics, video games, cooking shows, academic debates, and occasionally we have wars. But those are mostly contained to our own system now." "We brought gifts," Rodriguez added, producing what looked like a cloth bundle. "Traditional human cuisine to share with our new friends." Zephyrian watched in fascination and terror as the human unwrapped what appeared to be processed flesh, grains, and various plant materials combined into appealing arrangements. The smell that wafted from the food triggered every flight response his species possessed. "This is called barbecue," Chen explained. "We slow-cook meat over fire and season it with plants we've selectively bred for maximum flavor impact." "You cook your prey," Councillor Vexhai managed to whisper. "Cooking was actually one of the key innovations that led to our brain development," Dr. Nakamura said proudly. "Pre-digestion through thermal processing allowed us to extract more calories efficiently, freeing up energy for cognitive evolution." The silence stretched until Chen spoke again, her voice carrying what might have been genuine concern. "We hope this doesn't preclude diplomatic relations. Humans have much to offer the galactic community." Zephyrian looked around the chamber at his fellow council members, some paralyzed with fear, others calculating escape routes, a few seeming genuinely curious despite their terror. These humans were indeed apex predators, but they were also intelligent, articulate, and apparently capable of restraint. Perhaps the galaxy was about to become a much more interesting place. Zephyrian began, his voice steadying as diplomatic training overrode instinct. "We welcome Earth to the Galactic Council. Though perhaps we should discuss some behavioral guidelines before the next session." Chen's smile revealed those efficient cutting teeth again. "We'd be delighted to negotiate."